Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to ATS Sports. My name is Adams, and today we are going to be doing the Alabama 2026 football prediction and also preview for the 2026 season. We're going to go ahead and start going back the first couple years. So, Alabama has been, let's say, they have been without Nick Saban the first 2 years of this sort of next era. It's been the Kalen DeBoer era. And as great as Alabama has been, they have won one playoff game. And this program has been more competing, the expectation, I should say, is more competing for national championships. And I like Kalen DeBoer. I think he's a good coach. I think he's, up. I don't think you can name 8 coaches better than Kalen DeBoer right now. But it seems he's not getting it done to the Alabama standard. Now, he's been a good coach, right? He's got good wins. In 2024, they beat Alabama, for example, they beat Georgia, for example. But they lost to Vanderbilt and they lost to Tennessee. They did beat Missouri. They went on the road and destroyed LSU, but they lost to Oklahoma, and that ended their playoff route in 2024. They were unable to make it after that. Well, actually, on second thought, just remembering this, my apologies. They were able to almost get in, but Clemson beating SMU kind of really shattered that reality that it was not going to happen. And SMU got the final draw. It really just depended on how SMU or Clemson. If Clemson just lost, they would have been in. But it depended. If Clemson blew out SMU, then they might have been able to get in. But SMU played really good. They came back and they were able to get the last spot. So they went 9-4, and that's unacceptable. And then when they started last season, and listen, 9-4 is a great record, not to Alabama and Alabama fans. Last season, they lost to Florida State, and I think a lot of people remember that Alabama could have Kalen DeBoer fired if they're losing all these games, and it was a tough path. You had Wisconsin. Now, they were not that good, but Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma. They won almost all those games. And the fact of the matter is they beat Georgia. They beat Georgia again. Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee. These are all top 16 teams. They beat all of them. They beat South Carolina in an epic comeback. And Ty Simpson was really good last year. And now he's gone. But they were able to beat LSU. But then they lost to Oklahoma again. Then they ended up beating Eastern Illinois and beating Auburn. But they did not fare well in the SEC championship with Georgia. And that Auburn game was not great. They ended up getting revenge and finally beating Oklahoma. But in the end, they still have a 4-loss season where they lost to Indiana. So ending up 11-4, it wasn't great, right? It wasn't great. Now, the Ty Simpson era ends after just 1 year. And now you bring in Austin Mack. And this is going to be interesting because I don't know if Austin Mack is going to start the whole year. Because you got Kalen DeBoer. You got Keelan Russell. And you got this team with the wide receivers of Derek Meadows, Ryan Williams, Losser Brooks. I do think Alabama is going to have a pretty good defense. You got Daniel Hill as your running back. Alabama couldn't run the ball last year, right? They could not run the ball last year at all. Like, they could not. And I think that is move my mic for a second. I think that is something that Alabama has to do this year. Because what if Russell/Mack can't really move the ball in the passing game? The passing game's not as good as it was last year. You lost some receiver help last year. You might bring in some better receiving help, but you lost some receiving help. You do have Ryan Williams back. And Ryan Williams, he wasn't amazing last year. He had okay games, but he really did not look that great in the regular season last year. And he had some okay games, but he did not look that great in the season. But I still think that Alabama is going to be a good team, even with all that concern about the passing game and the replacements and losing 4 games each season. I still think they're going to be a good team this year. And they're going to meet that spot again. I think that's the absolute floor, though, is getting back to 9-3 or 8-4. So With that being said, we will go over the defense for a second. I think Alabama's going to have a good defense. So, sorry, moving my computer. Latham, Brigham Jones, Simmons, Pierre, Reese, Woodson, Xavier Brown, Hubbard, Keon Sabb, Lee Jr., Morgan. So I think they're going to have a good defense. I think Alabama needs to have a good defense. Alabama always has a good defense. I think they're going to have a good defense this year. So if we're looking at the schedule this year, here are my predictions for the schedule. Now, first of all, you got East Carolina at Kentucky, Florida State, South Carolina, at Mississippi State, Georgia, at Tennessee, Texas A&M, at LSU, at Vanderbilt, Chattanooga, Auburn at home. Whew, tough schedule. Tough schedule. So let's go ahead and start with East Carolina. You win that one. Then you play Kentucky on the road. Will Stein, first big game on the schedule. I think you guys walk out of that with an easy win. I don't think Kentucky is going to challenge you guys. I don't. Not on the road, not this early in the season. And then you play Florida State. I think that's a huge revenge game, and I think you get that win. I think you get that one. Then you play South Carolina at home. It's kind of been an interesting quest to say with this South Carolina team. You guys have had some battles the last couple of years, but I think you get that one too. Then you play Mississippi State, and this is where I think the Alabama fans are going to start writing negative comments because I do have Mississippi State coming in. You guys lose that game in Starkville. I think Mississippi State's going to be a sneaky good team this year. Could wind up with 6 or 7 wins, maybe 8. I don't think they can end up with 9, but I think they're going to be a sneaky team this year. And I think that's you look ahead to that Georgia game, and I think you lose that one. But I think you win the Georgia game at home. I think you're going to beat Georgia. You've beaten them the last 2 years. I would be a fool not to pick you guys to win another game in the regular season. In the past, Georgia has beaten you in the postseason. Now, I know they don't always do that. You got them in 18 and 19, 18 twice, and then 19. Or no, that was a 17 season. Got them in 17, 18, and 19. But they have you have beaten them in the regular season, but they have beaten you in the postseason. So I'm going to take you guys to win that game. But I'm going to take you to lose this Tennessee game. You have not won the last 2 trips there. And until you win there, I think I got to pick Tennessee to get that job done in Knoxville. So I got you with 2 losses heading into the Texas A&M game. I'm going to say you win that one. I'm not sure how good Texas A&M is going to be this year. I think they're a good team. I think they got some great talent, of course. But I think you go in and at home and you win that game, you bounce back again. And then I have you losing at LSU. I'm sure I'm going to get maybe some negative comments here. But I think you're going to lose that game at LSU. I think LSU is going to have a really good team. They got a lot of talent. So it's I don't want to say a mess over there in LSU, but it's a lot of mess with talent. Like who's going to be starting quarterback? What's going to happen? How's Lane Kiffin going to do in year 1? But I think you lose that one in Baton Rouge. But I think you win the last 3 games at Vanderbilt, Chattanooga, and Auburn. That's at you at 9-3. That has been the kind of the quest of Alabama. They've been 9-3 and 10-2. So they've been in that spot. I'm going to go 9-3. This is a tough schedule, and this may get you in all seriousness. This may get you in the playoff. If you can get a good draw, if you have some other teams lose, ACC don't have great teams other than maybe Miami. Big 12 don't have any great teams other than Texas Tech. You might be able to get one of those last wild cards to get you in, but 10-2 for sure gets you in. But that's what I would have, 9-3. Of course, the Mississippi State game just feels like a trap. Starkville could go crazy. I think Alabama gets upset this year. I think one time they get upset, and maybe they win the LSU game. But I got LSU on the road. I think that's going to be really tough, and Tennessee on the road is going to be really tough. So in the end, those are my predictions. Hey, if you disagree, leave in the comments. But hope to be respectful in the comments. Sorry if I'm disappointing you, Alabama fans. Hey, I've been wrong plenty of times, and I can still be wrong. But hey, it doesn't help. I like when I'm right as well. So that's my Alabama football prediction for the 2026 season. I wish all Alabama fans good luck on their season, and we'll have to see what happens in these next 4 to 5 months. Good luck, and thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. ATS Sports. Peace.